Hello, welcome to the 19th Annual Green Living Festival, coming to you from the Missouri Botanical Garden, specifically the Earthways Center, the Garden Sustainability Division. I'm Jean Ponzi from the Earthways team, welcoming you here on behalf of our presenting sponsor, Ameren, Missouri, and all the folks who work year-round to bring sustainable solutions to you, for you, in all areas of green living. This year is the 19th Annual Green Living Festival. It's the first, hopefully never again annual, virtual festival on June 6, 9, and 11. And you can find all of our resources online at mobot.org/greenlivingfest, including interaction with our exhibitors. Normally, you'd be able to walk around, talk to them, talk with your project ideas, and talk about things in the community. This time, we're bringing you these little short interviews, and then you can contact our exhibitors individually. Susannah Fuchs is my guest in this segment. She's the Director of Clean Air Programming with the American Lung Association in Missouri. Susannah Fuchs, welcome to the Green Living Festival, and thanks for bringing the resources of the Clean Air Partnership.
Thank you for having me, Jean.
And partnership is really the operative word here because it takes so many different entities at an official level and a nonprofit level and just every one of us to safeguard our air quality, yeah?
It's true. It's individuals, businesses, municipalities, schools. Everybody has to play a part.
And I see here on this little ribbon, championing clean air for 25 years, 1995 to 2020. Has this been a need for that long?
Oh gosh, air pollution problems have been around the metro area much longer than that, but the Clean Air Partnership started in 1995 when the American Lung Association decided to put resources and efforts into this specific thing about outdoor air pollution education.
Okay, we will have some resources in the Green Living Festival about indoor air quality and indoor healthy homes, but this is specifically the air shared by everybody, right? Our around us, in the clouds, everything we're breathing, yes?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you go to your next slide?
So this is our forecast. This is one of the main things that the Clean Air Partnership focuses on is the air quality forecast, which we do starting the beginning of May, and it goes till the end of September for ozone pollution, which is really, really harmful to the lungs.
But ozone, if we didn't have ozone in the upper atmosphere, we'd have too much ultraviolet radiation and we'd be fried, right?
It's right. We have this little rhyme, good up high, bad nearby.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
So ozone is good up high, where it's shielding us from the sun, and bad nearby, because if we breathe it, it's really not great for our lungs.
What makes ozone concentrate down in our breathing area?
Well, here, meteorology has a lot to do with it. Ozone cooks up. It forms from lots of different things together. So hot weather, very little wind, those big bright blue skies you see on those sunny metro area summer days when it's so still that nothing's moving and the temperature is really high, that's the perfect formula. Add emissions to that and you cook up ozone, and ozone is a lung irritant.
Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of air quality forecast, I believe, that you might see in cities all over the country. This is not unique to St. Louis.
No, there are forecasts like this across the whole country because ozone pollution is a problem across the whole country. Not everywhere, but lots of places across the country.
Mm-hmm. And I can see here there are other air quality factors that are calculated into these forecasts.
Right. Well, there are lots of things that it takes to make the forecast. The meteorologists who make the forecast look at wind speed and pollution sources and meteorology in the upper atmosphere. There are a lot of things that you have to do to figure out what the forecast is. Mm-hmm. Our forecast here really focuses on ozone pollution because that's the biggest problem that we have, and it's really, really problematic in the summer months.
And when people see these colors, and I can think of places that we see them. We see them on those solar-powered highway signs. We see them on the bridge across Highway 40 at the Science Center. We see them in other places. What do you want the public to understand from this color-coded warning system?
Well, if you see green, that means the air pollution is not predicted to be a real big problem. If you see yellow, it's starting to get, it's kind of a cautionary tale. If you see orange, it's a problem for more people, like children, the elderly, anybody who works outdoors, people with lung or heart disease. And if you see red, it's really going to be a problem for everybody. Now, I'm not saying that an orange day is okay for a regular healthy person to go exercise outdoors, but it gets worse and worse as the colors change on that scale.
And hopefully we never see a maroon air quality day.
Yeah, hopefully not.
So what are some things that people can do, that individuals can do when the air quality forecast is not so great, Susannah Fuchs?
Well, to protect yourself from air pollution, you probably want to, say if you're an outdoor exerciser, don't do that in the heat of the afternoon. That's when ozone pollution is the worst and cause the most breathing problems. Even for a normal, typical, healthy adult, it could be problematic. So running at 4 o'clock on a orange or red day, not a great idea. And some other things that people can do, they can trip chain. So if you have to do a bunch of errands, don't do them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, do them kind of like this. And a bigger thing that people can do, if it's a possibility, drive a very energy efficient car, drive an electric vehicle where there's no tailpipe emissions. That would be fabulous. And then when societal conditions make it okay, carpooling and van pooling are also a great idea. And then flex time and telecommute, that doesn't cause any emissions at all.
It'll be really interesting to see what happens in all the factors that an organization like the American Lung Association is tracking in a year like this, when there still are a lot of people telecommuting, and also when there's probably heightened sensitivity to air quality problems for people that have had COVID-19 or are at risk for it.
Correct. We're definitely spending a lot of our research time on COVID-19, on all facets of it. I know that the American Lung Association researchers are definitely focusing on that. And it will be really interesting to see at the end of this year what happens with the air pollution.
And aren't there things that you can do relative to outdoor grilling and lawn mowing in
Sure.
relation
Yeah.
to this?
Thank you for asking. If you use a push mower, that would be the best choice. But if you have acres of lawn, which is a whole other conversation, but the push mower is the best because there's no pollution from a push mower. If you have a battery operated mower, that would be great. At our house, we have a plug-in one, so you have to make sure you don't run over the cord, but it's you plug it into a plug and then you mow, because the traditional gas mower has a lot of emissions, doesn't have any emission controls. That could be a real problem. And then in terms of grilling, lighter fluid immediately evaporates most of it and adds to air pollution problems. So using lighter fluid, not such a great idea. You can use one of those charcoal cones, or you can use a gas grill, but lighter fluid, not so great.
It's often a good excuse for me, Susannah Fuchs, not to have to cut the grass when I come home from work. When I used to come home from work
Right.
on bad air quality days, low quality air quality days, not to cut the grass that evening.
I remember you saying this in years past about not mowing the lawn.
Yeah. Then I just have to wait till the weekend. And then one other thing I can remember, Susannah, from other you can do's has to do with filling up your car.
Aha, good call. So most cars have a automatic shutoff when the tank is full, and people try to top off. Topping off is not a good idea because most of that will evaporate. And that's the kind of thing that I was talking about, that when you add the emissions, that most of that evaporates if you top off, that combines with sunlight, heat, no wind to form ozone pollution. So topping off your gas is not a great idea. And also if you fuel your vehicle after dusk, that would be good too, because then any emissions there are don't combine with sunlight and heat to form ozone pollution.
Can you see ozone or smell it?
No. So yeah, it's kind of tricky that way.
Good thing we have this color-coded warning system. What was that mnemonic again, that little rhyme about ozone?
Good up high, bad nearby.
Good up high, bad nearby. Oh, I'm
Right.
gonna be using that. And idling is another thing that you educate people about from the Clean Air Partnership. Please tell us something about that.
shall I switch to the idling
Yep.
slide, the
Oh,
no
yeah.
idling slide? So here's the thing. We were just talking about how emissions combine with sunlight and heat end up forming ozone pollution. Lots of other chemicals come out of the tailpipe too. So a lot of times we're focusing on no idling, which is something really simple that everyone can do. And it's not politically charged and it doesn't have sides to it. No idling is easy. And you actually save money by not idling too. And you save wear and tear on your car. But if you have your car, if you are idling, waiting because it's somebody went into the store and you just leave your car on, I could certainly understand it if it's 106 degrees out, but most days it's not 106 degrees or 30. And you don't need to have your car idling. You crack a window if you want to, or just sit there in the closed car and have some quiet time. But the idling is really a problem. That's for cars, for trucks, for any kind of vehicle. It leads to more tailpipe emissions, and that's really problematic for people's health.
A lot of businesses in St. Louis and institutions like us at the Missouri Botanical Garden will post no idling signs just like these at their docks, or when we have tour buses come to the garden, we have no idling signs posted. And then we give the bus driver a free ticket to visit the garden, so the bus driver doesn't have to sit there in a hot bus.
Right, and I think that could happen in lots of places. The Missouri Botanical Garden is a really good example of how to handle idling and how to keep people from idling and how to make it kind of like a reward for the bus driver if he turns the bus off.
And then you have one more slide, I think, Susannah, about taking action.
So it may be a surprise to people, but air pollution really does all kinds of things, not just what I talked about, but it can cause asthma attacks. It can change lung development in young children. It could even kill people. So there are a bunch of action steps. And I think that we may have already addressed these, but walking or biking instead of driving can also be a way to reduce emissions, obviously. And then combining essential trips like we were talking about, and then not idling. So those are really simple. And the American Lung Association has really focused on this in our Clean Air Partnership project to get people to see that there are simple things you can do to reduce air pollution.
How are we doing in the St. Louis metro area with compliance with Clean Air Act standards, air quality standards?
Well, the long view is we can see improvement in air pollution over the last few decades for sure. The short view is we still, not this moment, because this is kind of an outlier moment where we have fewer cars on the road and there haven't been many cars on the road, but say this around now, we're still, there's an air pollution problem. Still, we need to address it. Still, it has a big effect on people's health. We have a higher than national average rate of childhood asthma. So there's even more people vulnerable here than maybe in some other cities. So yes, we've had improvement in our ozone air pollution. And yes, we need to continue to work on it. Okay.
Susannah Fuchs, again, I want to emphasize the word partnership in your action group, action initiative there, the Clean Air Partnership. We are all contributors to air quality issues, and we can all be partners in ameliorating those and protecting air quality for everyone.
You're right. We all can. We're all a part of it. Every single one of us can make a positive difference.
And is it possible, we might think, well, I don't have asthma, I don't have da-da-da-da-da, but it's possible to develop those conditions really at any point in life.
Right. You're not immune from the effects of air pollution. You might be this moment, but you might not be the next moment. So that's why it's important that we're all taking steps to reduce air pollution, because it does affect us all.
Top 3 messages from the St. Louis Clean Air Partnership. You get to reiterate them, please.
Don't idle your vehicle. Flex time and telecommute can make a big difference on air pollution issues. And air pollution affects everybody, and we can all make a difference.
Yeah, that's partnership. It's helping each other out in so many ways. And we're getting an opportunity in this extraordinary era of COVID-19 to remember how partnership and helping one another is so very, very important. Well, Susannah, you have been a longtime friend and collaborator with the Earthway Center, the American Lung Association, and the Clean Air Partnership, and we really appreciate you being an exhibitor in our festival and bringing these resources to us.
Thank you for having us.
I also really appreciate not having to cut the grass at the end of a long day.
You're welcome.
If we had a little enough yard that I could have a push mower, believe me, I'd be right out there with that little quiet little thing. Susannah Fuchs, Director of Clean Air for the American Lung Association in Missouri. Thanks.
Thank you.
Clean air, something that we all need, something that we can all safeguard. And there are so many of these kinds of things. Really some simple you can do, some simple considerate, in many cases money saving you can do, like saving money on fuel by not idling your car. The Green Living Festival brings them to you from the Earthway Center, staff and volunteers at the Missouri Botanical Garden, with special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Ameren, Missouri. You can visit with all of our exhibitors virtually. You can explore many online resources, and you can participate with our live events on June 6, 9, and 11 for the virtual Green Living Festival. All of these resources at mobot.org/greenlivingfest. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate your attention and your efforts and all the green things that you do. I'm Jean Ponzi from the Missouri Botanical Garden. Thanks.